Welcome to another English learning story designed to improve your fluency while helping you think more deeply about life. As you read, pay attention to the vocabulary, sentence structure, and emotions behind the words. Don't rush. Read slowly. Imagine every situation and let every paragraph become part of your thinking. Today's lesson is about one simple truth that many people spend years trying to avoid. Nothing changes until you do. Your future does not begin with luck, perfect timing, or someone else's decision. It begins the moment you decide to become different from the person you were yesterday. Every morning you wake up hoping something will feel different. You hope today will bring better news, more motivation, more confidence, or a new opportunity. Yet the day often unfolds exactly like yesterday. The same thoughts appear, the same excuses return, the same habits quietly guide your actions. At the end of the day, you wonder why nothing has changed. The answer is not hidden somewhere far away. It is standing quietly in front of you. Life keeps giving you reflections of who you are today, not promises of who you wish to become tomorrow. Until your actions change, your results will continue to look familiar. The hardest truth is that change feels uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. Your mind naturally prefers safety over uncertainty. Even if your current life makes you unhappy, it still feels familiar. The brain often chooses familiar pain instead of unfamiliar growth. That is why people stay in routines they dislike, postpone dreams they deeply care about, and repeat habits they promise to leave behind. They wait for confidence before taking action, but confidence rarely comes first. Confidence grows after repeated action, not before it. Waiting to feel ready often becomes another way of staying exactly where you are. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every day without realizing how much weight it contains. Over time, your shoulders become used to the pressure. You forget what it feels like to walk freely. Negative beliefs work the same way. You may have carried thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," "It's too late," or "People like me never succeed," for so long that they feel like facts instead of opinions. These invisible beliefs quietly shape your decisions. They convince you not to try, not to speak, not to dream bigger. But a belief repeated many times does not automatically become the truth. It only becomes familiar. Many people think change begins with a giant decision, but real transformation usually starts with something much smaller. It begins with one different choice, one extra page read instead of scrolling endlessly, one healthy meal instead of another unhealthy one, one honest conversation instead of silent frustration, one early morning instead of another delayed alarm. These small decisions seem insignificant at first, yet they slowly reshape your identity. Every action sends a message to your brain about who you are becoming. Eventually, those tiny actions become habits, and habits quietly build your future. You may look at successful people and imagine they discovered a secret that you cannot find. In reality, the biggest difference is often consistency. They continued when progress was invisible. They repeated simple actions long enough for results to appear. Success rarely announces itself during the process. Most improvements happen quietly. A stronger mindset develops through ordinary days. Better communication grows through repeated conversations. Confidence grows through repeated effort. The greatest changes often happen so gradually that you only notice them after looking back months later. One dangerous habit is believing that tomorrow will somehow be different without making today different. Tomorrow is often treated like a magical place where motivation suddenly appears. Tomorrow is where healthy habits begin, important goals are started, and difficult conversations finally happen. But tomorrow has a strange habit of becoming another today. The future is built inside ordinary moments, not inside imaginary perfect days. Every delay quietly teaches your brain that your goals are not urgent. Eventually, procrastination becomes part of your identity instead of just a temporary habit. Your environment also influences your life more than you realize. The people you listen to, the content you consume, the conversations you repeat, and the thoughts you entertain slowly shape your perspective. If every day is filled with negativity, complaints, fear, and endless comparison, your mind begins to believe that this is normal. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with learning, growth, encouragement, and possibility, your thinking slowly expands. Your environment does not force your future, but it certainly influences the direction you naturally move toward. Fear is another invisible force that keeps life unchanged. Fear whispers that failure will embarrass you. Fear reminds you of old mistakes. Fear exaggerates every possible problem while ignoring every possible success. Yet fear has an interesting weakness. It becomes smaller every time you move toward it. The first step feels terrifying. The second feels uncomfortable. The third feels manageable. Eventually, what once frightened you becomes something you hardly notice. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is deciding that your future matters more than your temporary discomfort. Sometimes you blame circumstances because it feels easier than examining yourself. It feels comforting to believe that your location, your background, your age, or your past is the reason nothing changes. Certainly, life is unfair in many ways. Some people begin with more advantages than others. But even within difficult situations, the direction of your life still depends greatly on your daily responses. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always influence what happens next. That responsibility may feel heavy, yet it is also deeply empowering because it places part of your future back into your own hands. Growth also requires letting go. You cannot become a different person while protecting every old habit, every old excuse, and every old comfort. Imagine trying to climb a mountain while refusing to put down heavy stones you no longer need. Every unnecessary burden makes progress harder. Sometimes the greatest change comes not from adding something new, but from removing something that has been holding you back all along. Old fears, unhealthy routines, endless distractions, and negative self-talk often consume far more energy than people realize. There will be days when your progress seems invisible. You may work hard without immediate results. You may practice new skills while feeling awkward. You may continue learning even though nobody notices. These moments test your commitment more than your talent. Anyone can stay motivated after seeing quick success. Real growth belongs to those who continue even when improvement feels hidden. Seeds spend a long time growing beneath the soil before anyone sees a single green leaf. Your effort often follows the same pattern. It is also important to remember that changing yourself does not mean becoming someone else. It means becoming more fully who you are capable of being. Deep inside, you already know many of the changes you need to make. Perhaps you need greater discipline. Perhaps you need more patience, honesty, forgiveness, or consistency. Maybe you need to stop waiting for permission to pursue your goals. The answers are often quieter than people expect. They are hidden inside moments of honest self-reflection that many people avoid because facing the truth requires responsibility. The beautiful part of personal change is that it creates a chain reaction. When your thinking changes, your decisions improve. Better decisions create better habits. Better habits create stronger character. Stronger character creates new opportunities. Those opportunities slowly build a completely different life. From the outside, people may call it luck. They may believe everything changed overnight. But you will know the truth. The transformation began long before anyone noticed. It started with invisible choices repeated every single day. Imagine meeting your future self 1 year from now. That future version is not asking whether life became easier. Instead, it asks whether you became stronger. Did you finally stop making excuses? Did you keep learning when it felt difficult? Did you replace fear with action? Did you choose growth instead of comfort? Every answer depends on decisions that begin today, not someday. Nothing changes because you wish harder. Nothing changes because you complain longer. Nothing changes because you wait for perfect conditions. Everything begins changing when you decide that your habits, your mindset, and your daily actions will no longer remain the same. The world responds differently when you become different. Opportunities appear where excuses once lived. Confidence grows where doubt once ruled. Progress replaces regret. So, as you finish reading this story, remember one lesson above all others. Life is not waiting for a miracle before it changes. Life is waiting for you. The moment you take responsibility for your choices, your thinking, and your actions, the future quietly begins to move in a new direction. It may not happen in a single day. It may not even be visible next week. But every meaningful transformation starts with one brave decision to become different. Because in the end, the greatest truth remains simple and powerful. Nothing changes until you do.